First, let me cover theoretically what is mean by trigger with some examples and taxes. Then we'll move to PG admin. Let's code and see how it behaves in the database. Okay. And I hope all this has been covered. I'm just skipping it. Okay. If you have some doubts, just ask me. Like because these were the concepts which has been covered in previous instructor session, the subqueries part. So the I hope the views also covered in last instructor session, is it? Yes or no? Anyone? Hello. Can someone confirm whether the view has been covered in last session or?
Sir, actually, I didn't attend the last session, so I don't know.
Uh, okay. I think it's been covered. Okay, let's see at the end. The views, materialized views, and let's start from this.
Yes, sir, they are covered, views and all.
Okay. I hope this was not been covered. Let's start from this SQL data types. These are the actual inbuilt data types, which you might have already seen here. Date, time, timestamp. An interval is something it can be obtained by adding or subtracting this date, time, timestamp data types. These were the built-in data types, which is already present in your database. And some of the data types which can be created by your own also. For example, here you can create a data type. This is the data type name called dollars. You are defining as numeric 12 to 1. And this is finally is the keyword. It says this has been defined by the user. It's not an inbuilt data type in the SQL. So after once you create this data type, you can use this data type while creating your tables. Here, that's the one of the example as usual. The syntax is there. Create table, and this is the table name, and this is the attributes you can see, and this is the data types as usual we have seen here. These are the inbuilt data types of SQL. But here I have given dollars. So it recognizes whatever the data type have been created here. This has been recognized as a user data type. So it will take only the values of this one, numeric world. So this will be the value it will be taking in the budget. So this is the advantage of one of the user defined data types. So you can create any kind of your own data type so that that will be used in your department. Sorry, any data. And what is mean by domain? Domain also similarly you are creating. Instead of create data type, you are creating this as a domain. And giving this is gonna be data type for the domain. And you are also giving the constraint, this is not gonna be null, right? And similarly, this also you can use certain person, uh, sorry, in the attributes while creating the table. In here, the person name is custom domain as you are seeing. So what is the difference between data type and domain? Both looks similar, right? And if you see here, this is also like you are creating the type and defining the what kind of value it's gonna accept. Here also you are defining that creating a domain and what type of value it's gonna set along with some constraints. So in domain, you can define set of values that's gonna set of values, or you can say custom range. These are all the things that you can do in domain. But in data type, it's only you're gonna create a data type and you're gonna say this is my data type and this is gonna be my values. But here you can give even the constraints. So one of the major example could be if you are creating a custom data type like numeric as a data type, some data type called numeric with custom. Using the domain, you can set that this numeric data type can take only values from 1 to 10. This is the set of ranges you are seeing, and this could be not null, and this should be unique. All these constraints you can set in domain. So this is the major difference between data types and domain. Okay. Any doubts here?
Sir, data type can be null.
Data type can be null, like as we haven't defined here. Okay. But if you define here, you can just say not null while creating the table.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And something which I also wanted to say this. As far you have seen only the rows and tables along with only with text values, right? Rows and columns, only text values, right? In the database, in all the rows. How can we store images, videos, and any other PDFs, all those things? There it comes as a binary large object. Instead of storing that image in a image form, it stores in a binary large object. We know that all the uh, data generally read in a binary forms, right? 0 or 1. In the same way, this also stores all those binary data, images, audio files, video, document, any other type of binary data, because computer doesn't have that capability to read. Because the software, it's gonna read that binary data type and it's gonna show you, right? If you don't use something called Adobe PDF, you won't be able to read that PDF in a proper format. Otherwise, it will show only 0101 some binary data. So in the same way, this is also going to store this binary large object in a blob data type. This is something called blob data type. And for character large objects like XML, JSON, if you have parallelly studying MAD1, you might have known what is a JSON data, XML data, all those things. So that we can store in character large objects. And next, the part comes is authorization. So why do we need an authorization? Anyone?
To
To
grant
distinguish,
access.
yeah, sorry.
No, go on.
Yeah.
To distinguish between two different users, basically the super user, the normal user, and so on.
Okay. Only to distinguish.
No, that becomes a authorization for them. No, because read only has got one level of activity, and write has got a different activity, so on.
Okay. Okay. I hope all it's clear. I'll give one example maybe. Let's assume there is a database. Okay. That's fine. Let's assume a database in a company. where it has all those confidential information only like upper management used to access those. And you want to give some specific level of access in your database. Like for example, there is three tables. One is employee, which has basic details, employee name, ID, and when they have joined, uh, whether they are still in the company or not, everything. Okay. And other table as employee salary details. These are confidential, right? Employee salary details. And other table as employee documents. Basically, because whenever they join some company, they used to submit all those documents, their degree certificates, their mark sheets, and their experience certificate, all those things they have to submit. So these were something confidential, right? Employee salary and employee documents. Suppose you wanted to give access to someone like HR, because HR has to verify all these documents. So you want to give access to HR specifically for this employee document. So for that, what you can do, you can create a new role for the HR in the database. You can give new login credentials like applications. We used to have our login credentials, username and password. Similarly, you can give new login credentials to this HR by creating new role. And you can give specific access to read this table or update this table or delete some of the things, whatever. And this is how this authorization gonna be useful. Uh, any doubts here so that we'll proceed. Hello.
No, sir, proceed. No doubt.
Okay. Okay. Then these are the privileges in SQL. I mean, these are the permissions that's gonna be will be given to the new user or to the new role. The select only allows to read access, and able to query. And insert means they will be able to insert new rows. Update, they will update their existing modification to the current row of the particular individual record. And this is delete all privileges, which it will grant all those select, insert, update, delete to the tables which you were granting. Let's see some of the examples. So this is the syntax, okay. The grant privilege list. Privilege list means what are the permissions you are gonna give. It's nothing but a permissions. On relation name. Relation name or view name. This is just a table. Okay. If you have studied what is view name, it's called a view created. It's almost similar like a table, right? And whom you're gonna give the access to the users. That list. This is the syntax. Similarly, if you want to revoke some permissions from the existing users, what are the permissions you are gonna revoke? On, this is again on which table you are gonna revoke or view, and from which users you are gonna revoke. This is simple, right? Grant, we're just gonna grant a permission on which table to users or from users based on grant or. So this is how it will be. So if you want to create a new role called instructor, so this creates a new role called instructor. In the grant, instructor to the user. You are giving the instructor role to the user, newly created user. Let's say user 1. So this user 1 has a role of instructor. So whenever this user 1 logs in to your database, this user 1 will have all the permissions, whatever the permissions that has been given to the instructor. And this is one of the view. I hope view, what is mean by view is already discussed in the previous live session. Create view, this is called the view name, this is instructor view. And select all from instructor where subject equal to DBMS. So basically it will list all the instructors in the DBMS subject, right? Instead of querying everything, this instructor will give automatically all the instructors who are teaching DBMS. And what you are doing, you are giving the access, as I said, you are giving the access. This is the privileges. These are the accesses you are giving. These are the privileges. This is a table name or view. Here it's a view, not a table, right? Because as we have seen here, this is the view which has been created here. And you are giving the access to the instructor role. So if this user 1 has the access to the instructor role, which I have been granted here, so that he'll be able to modify this instructor view. He won't be able to create any new records. Sorry. Yeah, there is no insert permission here, right? So he won't be able to create any new records. But he can see all those instructors who are in DBMS and he can update the instructors and he can also delete the instructors. But he won't be able to create any new instructors. This is the permission that has been given to the instructor.
Oh, sir, I have a question on views. Like, shall I ask now?
Yeah, sure.
Actually, in one of the questions I was solving, I was seeing that materialized views are like basically actual table, right? It's a physical table, but
Mm.
it is not a permanent table in the database. Like that option was marked as wrong. So when we create a materialized view, will it make a persistent table in DB or not?
Uh, in schema, it doesn't make any change because the view, the view is a you can say it's not a temporary table. The view is, and the materialized view it's creating based on this query
Okay.
because the performance. One thing I would say, the performance is poor in the normal views. Here, the performance is better.
Okay. Once the session is ended, so even materialized view will be destroyed, is it?
No, it won't be destroyed. I'll
Then
tell you.
okay.
Views, the performance will be poor. Okay, here the performance will be better. But the another trade-off is it will dynamically update all the rows, but it won't. For example, here this instructor is a view, right? This is not a materialized view.
Yep.
What will happen is these I'm giving as a view. So let's say the table instructor has name, subject. Just for simplicity, I'll keep just two. Okay. Some name called ABC, again DBMS. There is again some name called EFG DBMS because here only DBMS is given. So this view has been created called instructor view, right? So if I update something in this instructor table, this is the actual table that is present in your database, right?
Yep.
If I update new instructor called XYZ in my DBMS table, sorry, in my instructor table. So this is your current table which has 3 rows. Now if you query your view, select all from instructor view. This is how it's you will query the view, right? Instructor view. So will it give all 3 rows or 2 rows?
It will give all three rows.
All 3 rows. Because what it does is it's not storing a physical storage in your database. It doesn't occupy any physical storage.
Okay.
What it does is whenever you query this, it actually queries this. It knows what to query. If you say instructor view, the database knows that you have created a view, not a materialized view. If it is a view, what it will do, it will actually gonna query this.
Okay.
Instead of writing a large piece of code, select all from instructor where subject equal to DBMS, you are gonna simply write this, and in the back, it's gonna query whatever you have created in the view.
Got it.
That's why its performance is poor, but it's gonna be dynamically updated. But in the materialized view, what will happen is it's just a new if I put materialized view here, that's a syntax for materialized view, right? So what will happen if materialized view has been created? Initially, my two rows were there, ABC DBMS, EFG DBMS, and you have created the materialized view. Okay. After creating materialized view, if I insert a new row again, XYZ DBMS, now what will be the output of my materialized view?
It will not
The
change.
previously what we have said.
Only these 2 rows will be given in your output.
Okay.
But sir,
It
still we
won't,
have option to update that.
because this won't update in your materialized view, because these 2 rows will create a new physical storage as a table instructor view. Even if you update some other thing like MNO something DBMS, it won't reflect in your materialized view unless and until you refresh the materialized view, because it occupies a physical storage. That's why it's the performance is better. It's not going to query the redundant whatever you have written again. Because
Okay.
instructor view, what it does is it queries every time, it queries whatever the queries which you have given here. But materialized view, it doesn't query. It stores the actual value in somewhere in physical storage, whatever that present while you have created the materialized view, and it's gonna retrieve and give you. That's why the performance is better, but it won't update dynamically. This is the one of the trade-off, you can say. It has advantage and disadvantage together. It
Okay.
depends on the scenario what you have to use.
Got it.
Sir, in DBMS we used views only.
Um,
Okay.
So materialized view means that you are creating a separate table. Is it that way?
yes.
And the other view is that you are running the query on the fly.
Hmm.
Correct?
You are creating a table in the sense it won't affect your schema and all the existing schema, but it will
No.
create a separate table and it will store in your
Yeah.
storage.
I'll give an example. So this employee data related to this, the confidential data, confidential underscore HR sort of. That's a particular table which I'm creating, and that will be a part of the materialized view, right?
Again, it's defined, right? We're creating the view. If you're creating materialized view or view, here only you're gonna define what
No,
view
I
you
just
have created.
understand what's the difference between a materialized view and the normal view. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Can you
no,
repeat?
I believe no. I want to understand what's the difference between a materialized view and a normal view. So what I understood is that materialized view is one is that you are creating a table and keeping it
Hmm.
as a all the data will be inserted into that particular table, and that will be a part of your schema. And whereas normal view is what the query which you are running on the fly. and which is not stored actually. Is it that correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Sir, instead of maybe saying us creating a table, what I think is maybe it actually executes the query and then stores the result of the query. Right?
Um,
Can we see like that?
uh, yeah, that's too correct. Like as I said, I don't make any changes in your existing schema of your database. It stores that output in a physical storage. That actually that's what we are saying as it creates a new table and stores it.
Okay.
Okay. Let's move to SQL functions. This will be very useful when you create some trigger in the SQL functions. And the syntax for SQL functions is you either create or replace the existing function, or simply you can create also. This for generally they use replace function, because if some function is already exists with this name, what it will do, it will replace this function with this whatever the function we are writing. And this is the function name, and it will take the arguments. And it's gonna return this return data type, and as this is the beginning of the function, this is the ending of the function, and finally you are defining what language it is. Because triggers can be also written in C and C++, I guess, in the Postgres. So you are defining this PLPG SQL. This is a SQL Postgres SQL syntax, and you are gonna declare all those variables like in Python, whatever the variables that you are gonna do, and this is the function you are gonna write, and what is the variable that you are gonna write. Clear? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Let's see this as a example. So here, this create function, as I said, replace function as you can either put it, not put it. If you use replace function, if any function exists already, that will replace with this following. Here you are creating a function department count, and the argument what you are passing is department name, and this is the argument data type var 20, and finally it's one what's gonna return is integer, and you are beginning the syntaxes here, right? And finally this is you are denoting this is the language. And in declare statement, what you are doing, you are declaring the variable. This is your variable, and this is your data type for that variable. And in within begin and end, you're gonna write the actual procedure or the code here. What it does, select count all into decount from instructor, where instructor or department name is equal to department name. This is the argument which we have passed here, this department. And finally you return the decount. Right? So if this function has been created, how we can use it? So this department name budget from department where department count is just greater than 12, and you're passing this department name from the department table. So instead of manually counting it or writing it, you can use this function to make your life easier, right? Because sometimes what it will happen, if you go into a working scenario, you might have to write the function will be very useful, so that you don't have to write a repetitive queries in a large form. And also this helps for your triggers also. Triggers are very important. Okay. Uh, any doubts here, so that we'll move on to triggers.
Uh, Actually, where do we store these functions in DB, like pgadmin as we are using?
In database, it will store it in as a separate functions. If you see in pgadmin, once you click the database, there will be various aspects. There will be table, schema. In schema, public schema will be there, functions will be there, views will be there. There you can see all this, whatever you have defined there.
Got it.
And also it has some by default set of roles. We have seen roles, we are creating new roles, right? By default, PG admin itself has more than 10 or 11 default roles
Okay.
to maintain a database.
Okay. Okay.
And this is the another example for the SQL function. What it does is gonna return a table instead of just a value, and the table schema will be like this. And the table returning value will be this is what it's gonna return: ID, name, department name, salary, instructor. Instructor dot department name equal to instructor of department name. This is what it says. And you can simply use this like this. Select all from table instructor of music. What it will give? It will give in a form ID, name, department name, salary of those who are present in music department.
Sir, in
Okay.
the
Now,
second example,
yeah.
there were two returns. So basically, the
Mm,
first returns is about the specifying only the data types, and then the second returns is the function. Or-
yes.
Okay.
Mm,
Here we do not follow any. There's no need to follow those dollar begin and all.
because you are not writing any procedures, you're gonna return only the table, right? For table, what it does is you need a schema, and what schema you're gonna return. This is the schema of this function you're gonna return. If you don't put the salary here, it will throw an error because you defined a schema like this: ID, name, department name, salary. This should be underscore. Department name, salary. But in the returns table, this is the actual code that's gonna return, right? If you don't put a salary here, what it'll do is it will throw an error because you have ID, name, department name. This is only you are returning, but in a schema you mentioned salary. Salary will also be gonna be returned.
Okay.
Okay, let's move to triggers. Okay. As it said here, triggers is a set of actions, okay, that are performed in response to an insert, update, delete operation on a specified table. Uh, what it will do and when it will be useful? Can someone see? Hello.
For some actions, if some of the prerequisite things are required, like we can use triggers for that. Like for example, while doing some insert, we can do logging things using triggers. Those aspects.
Yeah. One of the main usages logging. Whenever you do something on the data, like table, which is very crucial to maintain the logs, because you wanted to see who is updating what, who is deleting what. Okay, so we can create a new logs table, something called like this. Whenever you update something here, maybe like employee salary, whoever has the access to employee salary, they will read, write, sorry, basically they'll insert, delete, select, all those things will be performed, right? So for this, whenever these queries has been performed in employee salary table, what it will do, you can create a log like this is the timestamp and this is the user and this is the query they perform. So you can maintain the log. One thing is here. Another part is what you can do is you can automatically update some of your values in the attribute. For example, if a student has marks in a subject like mark 1, 2, 3, these are three subjects. And if you want to calculate total marks and you want to append it in the same table, instead of manually calculating and inserting it, the total marks or average marks, what you can do is you can simply write a trigger. Whenever you insert some marks like this 100, 99, 88, something, what it will do is it will automatically calculate the total and it will insert here something 378 or something, sorry, something like this. So that you don't need to manually calculate the total marks and you have to insert.
In this case, it is after insert, right?
Before.
Before insert, there will be no marks. Like if you are going to insert 100, 99, 88, there won't be any marks in the DB before inserting this record for that student, right? So we can sum the marks only after inserting the record, right?
It won't behave like that. When you write an insert query here, insert into some table name values, and here the marks is 100, 99, 88, and you want to update the total marks also in the table, right?
Yeah.
So what it will do is when you perform this query, because the trigger has been defined in this table. So what it will do, it will perform the trigger first. So this value directly goes to the trigger 100, 90, 99, 88. This will goes to the trigger. What trigger will do? The trigger will calculate the marks. Something like it will calculate the marks like this: new dot total marks equal to new dot marks 1 plus new dot mark 2 new dot mark 3. It will calculate and store it. Then only it will insert.
Okay, it will be stored in like 100, 99, 88, comma this total, and then everything will be inserted together, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And in triggers, there are two types of trigger: row level and statement level trigger. So row level triggers fires once for each row is getting affected by triggering an event. And statement level triggers fire only once for each statement. I know this would be confusing, right?
Yes,
Is this
sir.
clear or confusing?
Could you explain the statement level trigger? Row level trigger, I understand for what rows it is getting affected, the trigger will be called for that particular row, right?
Okay.
What about statement level trigger?
We'll give you the same example to explain. Insert into, this is my table student, and values, and this is my mark 100, 99, 80. In the same query, I'm also gonna insert 100, 88, 90, some other student mark. Okay. What it will do is the row level trigger will be fired once or twice here.
Twice.
Because you are inserting two rows, right?
Yeah.
But the statement level trigger, it will trigger only once.
Okay. So that we can't define this calculating total as a statement level trigger, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Generally, statement level triggers where it will be used is for logging, as I said.
Okay.
It will maybe raise some. It will can print something like this has been affected. This row has been modified. You can print like this, or you can even log in another table so that this has been modified. You can see all these logs, who updated what, who deleted what, something on that table.
Sir, in that case, statement level triggers, will they also be triggered first and then the action will be performed? Is that so?
It depends. I mean, because in triggers there are two things: before and after. You can perform after also for statement level trigger, because if you are not going to modify any values in the table, then you can perform after also, because for logging purpose generally it used for after only, not before.
Okay. Suppose if total is in a different relation, even then can we update it, or should actually all the attributes be like in actually one relation only using triggers?
Using triggers, so you want to update in another table, right? If something you are inserting in this table, you want to get updated in another table.
Yeah.
That can be also.
Okay.
One more thing I wanted to say is statement level triggers, not it won't return anything. It it will return null values. In row level trigger, you can return the. Okay. Let's see the examples. So this create trigger is sorry. We'll join in 2 minutes. Okay. Sorry for disconnection. So where I left.
Sir, your voice is too low. Very low, sir.
Is it better?
Yes, sir. Now wait.
Is it?
Sir, sir, can you increase the volume of your microphone, please?
Only. Okay. I hope it's better now, right?
Yes, sir. Now better.
Okay. So to create a trigger, so this is the syntax that we are gonna follow, right? Create trigger, and here you are gonna write a trigger name, and you are gonna define before or after, and it's gonna be insert, update, delete, or whatever you can define here. It's not only gonna be insert; it can be update, delete also. On which table you are gonna perform this trigger, and whether it's a row level trigger or statement level trigger for each row or statement. And then you execute the procedure, and this will be a call function. It's nothing but you're gonna call the function here, which you are defined. So for example, here you can create a trigger, create trigger name called salary trigger, and it will trigger when before you insert any tuple in the table, before insert on employee, and this will be a row level trigger for each row, and it will execute the procedure, nothing but it will call the function called salary function. So this is set function. So what it will do, this function, is you have seen create or replace the function name. What is the return data type? Return data type is a trigger, and you declare and in within this dollar. And while declaring, you are declaring the variables along with data type. Counter is equal to integer. Initially, you are initializing as a 0. If any salary is greater than 75,000, what it will do is it will increment the counter and it will return that value. So you are defining again Postgres, PGSQL. That's the language of your.
Sir, like, what is new here?
What is?
New. It doesn't seem like a variable. Also, what is that?
New itself by default syntax in this PLPG SQL while writing the function. So if you write, if you insert something like this, insert into this, what's the table name employee values, something you insert this ID, this employee ID name, and salary equal to 76,000. What it will do is this will take this new dot salary is greater than 75,000 or not. It will check this. Whatever you are inserting, it will check this new dot salary, or you can, sorry, this new is already in the table, it whatever it takes. Yeah, as table as ID, name, salary, because it's a update trigger. Right? So you can insert. Sure. This new dot salary will be 0 only, right? Because initially, if you don't define anything, if you don't divide anything, it will be 0. It will take as a 0. And if you are giving us 76,000, it will take the 76,000. It will check whether it is greater than 75,000 or not. Then it will increment the count.
Okay, but basically, this
And
particular function doesn't do anything, right? Like, it is not even returning the counter.
it's not even,
Returning the
it's,
counter.
it's returning your new. It's not returning the counter. Okay, it's returning the new means whatever you are inserting, right?
Yeah.
Maybe count could be here, and it will return in such a way like ID, name, salary. The count could be increased to by 0. I will show an example now in PJ so that it will be much clearer.
Okay.
Because these are the syntaxes, new and old is the syntaxes that we being will be using in the trigger, sorry, functions.
Okay. Okay. Right.
Any other doubts? So before moving
Sure.
on to PG admin.
Sure. Hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
Sir, what I understand, this trigger is only maintaining the count of the salary which is getting inserted greater than 75,000.
Hmm.
This is counting only those and maintaining the record.
Yeah.
And where will be it useful?
Where?
Where will we? Where will it be the useful? Suppose it is maintaining the records, salaries. Then where we can use this trigger?
Okay. It's something. Okay. If I show the example, that will be much clearer, I guess.
It's doing a calculation in background and maintaining the record, or it will use
Yeah.
this records.
During whenever you insert or update something, it will perform some calculation on whatever you want based on the existing values that you are inserting, and it will calculate something. It will store in your table, right? Because you don't want to manually do that operation. Like for example, in this case, total marks, average marks, which will also see in PG.
Sir, I want to understand the use of this trigger function, how it is useful.
All those guys. It will be clearer if I show it in PG. And let's move to PG.
Oh, okay, sir. Fine. We can proceed.
Any other doubts? Okay, let's move to the PG then.
So could you please share this PDF?
Yeah, sure. Post it in discourse. Okay, I hope my screen is visible. We will perform in this test database which I have newly created. So let's query this. So here you can see all those triggers also. If you have defined some trigger, you can see it here. This event triggers is there. And in schemas, you can see all this foreign tables, operators, procedure tables. Here you can see trigger functions. Here again, you can see what are the views you have defined, what are the data types which you have defined. All these things you can see it here. Again, here you can see in the materialized view, not in the your actual physical tables, because these tables are stored in your schemas, right? So this materialized view will be stored separately and it occupies some storage in your database. Similarly, you can see functions here. What are the functions we are doing it? Okay.
Sir, like, could you just briefly explain me the difference between the function and procedures here in the context of SQL?
It's almost same, right?
Okay. Then actually, why do we have a like different things here? Functions and procedures separate.
Okay. Um, I'm not sure, like because I haven't used procedures.
Okay. Okay. Everything we can just put as a function and use the same syntax we discussed, right?
Oh, yes.
Got it.
Okay. Now let's come to the syntax triggers, initially what I will do, I will drop the table student and we'll start with that only. So what we'll do, we'll newly create a table student. So what's the syntax to create a table? Anyone?
A comma D.
Sorry. After create table student, what we'll do,
Attributes and
define the
data type.
define the attributes,
Attribute
right?
and data types.
Attributes and data types. And this will be my primary key. Sorry, no spaces. Next, a name. This will be my varchar 20. Let's put to 50. Then what I'll do, dbms. This is one of the mark. I'll put integer. PDSA integer. mad1 integer. And I'll also put total marks as integer. We'll do average marks also. That is also integer, let's say. Instead of integer, average marks, let's put it as float or numeric, right? Because that will be stored in the decimals. So let's create this table. Oh, can someone spot what's the error here?
Commas are missing.
The commas are missing.
Sir,
Hmm.
in the last line of code, we need not to declare till what this point value, decimal value it is going to take.
No, we don't need to. Like, if it's a float, it will automatically take this or take care of this point. If you are especially defining numeric, then you have to say
Okay,
if
okay.
it is gonna be 3, 2 or not. Because in
Okay.
average marks, it could be anything, right?
Yeah, yeah. So if we write float, then we need to declare that. Right?
The table has been created. Okay. Now, if I see what's present in my table, it will be empty as expected. Sorry. It's as expected, it's empty, right? Okay. Now, what we'll do, we'll create a function to perform a trigger. So, how do we create a function? As we seen here, either you just put a create or replace function like this. So, in this case, I will just use create only. As no other function exists, I will just put create. And the function name is calculate total average. Okay. What it does is this function is gonna return a trigger. Okay. This function will return a trigger, and I'm mentioning the language also, PLPG SQL. Then what I will do, I'll put as $$ so that I can start rating my functions. And finally, so how will I start? I'll start writing by begin, then end. Within this, I'll gonna write whatever the logics that I'm gonna do with this function, right? So what I will do, new dot total marks, which is defined in my table, new dot total marks. So what it will be?
33.
New dot
New dot dbms plus new dot pdsa plus new dot mat1.
new dot dbms plus new dot pdsa plus new dot mad. Sorry, plus new dot. Then my average mark will be what it will be.
Total new marks divided by 3.
New dot average marks will be new dot
Total marks by 3.
total marks by 3. So for safety, I'll put this.
Sir, here trigger, return trigger. This is a statement trigger or root trigger.
This is a function. Okay.
Sir,
This is a function, right?
Yes, sir. But read two types of trigger. Two.
Yeah. While defining the trigger, we'll see like whether it is row level or statement level.
Oh,
So finally, I'm returning it. Right?
What is the
So
purpose
here,
of returns trigger here in line 14?
Line 14.
Yeah, what's the purpose of stating it as return trigger? Because when we create the trigger, anyways, we are going to link this function there, right? So why should we write here returns trigger?
Because it's gonna return a trigger and it will automatically update this. If you wanted to define a data type and return, that won't work, right?
sir, here we are returning new, right? Is new a trigger?
Hmm.
New is just a row, right? Like, why are we specifying that as a trigger?
This returns, this will return a row. Sorry, before to comment. Okay. This will return a row. But what it does is it's gonna calculate this, right? New dot total average mark and new dot this one. This is new itself. What it does is before the actual syntax, there is one more thing here, old. If I use old, it won't update anything. That is also there. I'll show you the difference between new and old, then you can understand. I'll create a function. I'll go ahead and create a function. Then. Okay. Okay, syntax error, calculate total average. Okay. Do I need to define this also? Okay.
I
Okay, the
think
function
function was left, I think, in typing that.
yeah. Function syntax I missed it. So this will also work. Now it says calculate total average already exists. Okay.
So now we can replace this?
Hmm?
You can replace
Now
this.
if I replace this, what will it will do? It will don't throw in any error. It will say the function has been newly created.
So in place of only we need to replace or write to create or replace.
Here now it says the calculate total already exists, right? What it will do? It will override that function if I replace it. Now again it says create function.
I want to ask, if I write only replace function, is the syntax create or replace, or it will be fine if only we replace function?
It will replace. Okay, now not okay.
Then say syntax is create or replace. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, like, could you just explain that return part again? Because
Yeah, I'll come to it. create trigger. Now you have to define a trigger name. I'll put trigger. Let's put this cal total average as my trigger name. Then what I will do, what I have to define next to the create trigger, I should define whether it is before insert or after insert, because I'm going to perform insert operation. I'll define this as after insert on for each row. What it's gonna do, execute procedure and it's gonna call my function. Okay. So I'll create a trigger by using this. Okay, what's the syntax error? Okay, I forget to mention a table name before insert on student. This is the student table. So my trigger has been created. Now again let's see before inserting something. This is my empty table. Now what we'll do, we'll try to insert some rows. So can someone say what to insert? Anything? Roll number, name. Let's say put name one only. 75, 86, 78. Okay. Will it throw any error if I insert like this? Because I'm leaving this as a total marks and average marks as empty.
No, sir, it will calculate, I think.
So it won't throw any error because it can be null also, right? Because in while creating the schema, I had mentioned it cannot be a null value. Okay. So if I execute this, now it says the row has been inserted. And now if you execute and see, it has been already calculated total marks and average marks and it has inserted by using this trigger. So exactly what has been happened here? So whenever you insert this student table, the database knows that the student table has trigger before insert. For each row, it should execute this function. So whenever you insert this function will be called, and it's knows it the data type is written. It's nothing but it's gonna return a trigger. So this new, how this new captures the value?
Every new entry we make, maybe.
Sorry.
Hello. That every entry when we make any, try to make any new entry every time.
So it captures from na student values in setting we have.
Because initially the new dot total marks will be empty. What we are doing is you are assigning it, right?
Sir,
This,
question is that how to assign the value for that.
this total mark will be empty, right? And this average mark will also be empty. So what it does is it's assigning to your new dot total marks. And this new dot dbms, pdac, everything comes from while you are inserting. Okay.
Sir,
Before
what will
inserting another,
happen?
before
What will
insert,
happen? Sorry, sir. Small question there. Can I ask now? Or?
I'll complete with another example. Before inserting another student, what I will do, I'll just copy paste and modify some of the things. 99, let's say 88 and 85. This is my name 2. This is my roll number. Now what I will do, I'll replace this function with the old values. Will it work?
I think it will be 0 or null values, because old in the context of insert doesn't make any sense.
So I have replaced this function with old values. If I try to insert my new row, null value column, roll number, relation student not violates. Now it says everything has been failed. Why?
Because the old values are basically null for these things, because it just transferred from null to null to name to, like that. When we are trying to
Okay.
access old or these values, everything is null, right?
Because there is
And that
no
will be returned.
student with ID 2 and name 2.
And we are
Because
returning.
initially it doesn't carries any values, so it will be null. So finally this old what it returns is everything has a null. You can see null, 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 everything. And because of roll numbers should be a primary key, this primary key should not be null. It's failing the constraint and it says there. If I return a new here, at least, now will it insert my row?
Yeah, it will insert the row, but the total marks and average marks will not be working as expected. It will be empty, I guess, null.
Yes. If I replace this function again, if I try to insert this, now it says the row has been inserted. But you can see the total marks and average marks will be empty. Because from the old values, it's nothing but it's assigning the same null value.
So here, generally, in a function, right, we will be given returns and then the return type of the function, right? But here we are returning a new, which is a row, but we are mentioning the return type to be a trigger, line number 14.
Yes.
While we are returning a row, how can we say its type as trigger, like returns trigger?
Or else you have to define a schema, what it's gonna return. Like we have seen this one in the PDF, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, One in the table section where we defined a schema, what it's written.
yeah, correct. We can do that way also, right? Like that will also work.
Yes, yes, that also works.
Okay.
Sir, what will happen if in case we actually say during the definition of the creation of the table that the total marks and average marks cannot be null? Then when you execute the first insert operation, will it throw an error? Because anyways, we're going to calculate the values using the trigger. Will it still throw an error during the creation of or when we try to insert without these values? What will happen?
I won't throw an error. Let's see. I'll put not null. This also let's put I'll put not null. You hope this is a syntax, right? Now what I'll do, I'll just drop the table. Let's try to recreate and let's see what it's happening. Okay. Now the table has been created and it has empty rows. It has a functions. I'll modify this to new. So what I'll do, I'll replace this function. Now let's try to insert this. It won't throw any error. Okay, it's throwing the error. Student violates the not null constraints. Failing row contains not null values. Okay. So in that case, you can put some dummy values.
Okay, sir.
So now the row has been inserted. I just inserted 1 1 and it taken 1 1 only because now here it will consider this new dot total mark equal to 1 and it should be added. Okay, now okay, sorry. The trigger was also been deleted. Okay, I forget to execute this trigger one because I haven't executed this trigger, right? After deleting the table, the trigger was also been deleted. Delete from where? Okay. Because the trigger was not been executed, that's why. We'll create the trigger also. Now it says the row one has been inserted. Because earlier what happened is this trigger was not been triggered because I haven't executed this trigger one. Now,
Okay.
if you see, even though I have not null constraint, this has calculated and inserted this total mark and average.
Okay, sir. Understood.
Even if I assign some dummy values, it will get let's assign dummy values here. What it will do is it will calculate the correct total marks and it will assign it there. You can see. Okay. Any other doubts from activity
Sir,
questions or practice assignment?
uh, one small doubt again here on this. So,
Okay.
did it actually work? So even though the values total marks and average marks were null during the insertion command, still it worked maybe because it is before. So what if it is after insert? Then it might not work. Or
Yeah, it don't work.
okay, sir.
If you wanted to use, I want let try on your own. If you are using after, that means you inserted and take some old values because now the rows has been inserted. Now you will be able to access using the old instead of new, right?
Yeah. Right. You are right. Yes.
Then you will be able to perform whatever you. This thing is to for after application you can have a update trigger because once you update something you can trigger based on the old values. This is how generally it will be used, not insert after update something.
Okay, sir.
If I wanted to show an example, I'll simply put some random marks, put averages 99, like I'm just hard coding here, okay, to just show an example, and I'll put 3. What I'll do, I'll replace this function again, and I'll create a one. What it will do, I'll create a one more trigger update. Okay. Now, if I update some rows, what it will do? What's the syntax for update? Update set set name is equal to name 3. I'm just updating my name 3. Name 2 is equal to name 3, where roll number equal to 2. Right. So it has been updated. Now, if you go and check, haven't I executed this trigger? Okay, already exists. Okay, sorry. This should be something called old.marks plus 10. Something, let's put like this. Old.marks plus 10. And let's return the new value.
It's old dot total marks and old dot average marks.
Sorry. Now you can expect the behavior to update. Function has been created. The trigger already exists. Okay. Now if I update this, before updating, let's check what's the value of total marks, 272 and 90. Who has been updated? Okay, why it's not behaving? Okay, I'm missing somewhere here only, I guess. I might have confused before using update. Yeah. It should be like this. Okay. Yeah, now it has been updated, right? Okay. I confused with here using before and after.
What was the issue, sir? I did not get why it did not happen before because or
Because initially I had this after.
okay. During the tree. Okay, inside the trigger it was after. Okay.
Now I changed this to before so that whenever it returns a new value, it takes the old value, whatever previously it was there, and it assigns to the new value and returns the new updated. Now if I do the update again, now the average mark will be 110, the total marks will be 280. 292 and 110. Okay. Any other doubts that you have in
So
activity questions or practice assignments?
practice assignment question number 10.
Okay. Can you share your screen? Because I don't have access to the portal.
This question.
The trigger one.
Yep.
Okay.
So they are asking the output of this code,
Hmm.
and the answer is given to be the code has errors, but I'm not able to figure out why this is going wrong.
Can you check the trigger function whether it has proper syntax or
Yeah, create trigger bonus string before insert. Um, oh, should be here for each row, is it?
yes, yes. It should specify it's a row level trigger or statement level trigger, right?
Okay. If we don't specify for each row, it should be statement level trigger, is it?
No. You should explicitly specify it's gonna be row level trigger or statement level.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Okay.
One okay. One thing I wanted to say is in this third week, the most important part is the subqueries and join, which has been discussed in the last live session. So there you will get most of the questions, and that's very important.
Yes, sir.
And also, by now, you should have all been clear how this primary key, foreign key constraints works, because those are also important. And one more thing which I haven't said is I don't know whether it has been covered in last session or not. There is something called on delete cascade. Anyone? Have you guys
No,
studied
sir.
this
No, sir. It
cascade
has
one?
not. Cascading, I don't think it has been covered.
Cascading effect.
I don't think it has been covered. Yes, yes. Join has been covered, but cascading.
Okay. Uh, okay. Let me just cover that alone. Uh, This one. Well, you create a table, something called its scheme as this, right? Course, these are the attributes, these are the data types, and this is how you define a foreign key. Department name, this department name refers to the department. And you are specifying something newly called on delete cascade. Generally, okay, let's assume this, how it works. Let's say there is a department table with ID and name. Let's say department name D1, D2, D3, this biology, chemistry, physics. Okay, this is our department table. And in course table, let me write it here one thing. In course table, you are having course ID C01 and let's say some course biology course 1. And this belongs to the department name biology because this is referencing here, right? And this should be department name like this. Okay. Similarly, C2 biology course 2, and this one again, this again belongs to biology department C3, C4, C5, C6, and there are some courses. You assume any course, and this belongs to chemistry. These three. This belongs to physics. Okay. This is how, let's assume these are the values that are present in my department table and course table. So considering this, the course table has been created with this following code using this on delete cascade. If you wanted to delete some department, it's the department called biology, will it throw any error or it will delete this department? Because assume this query has been performed, delete from department where department ID equal to D1. So will it delete my this row or not?
I think it will throw errors.
It will?
It will throw error or give some caution
Why it will throw an error?
because it has been referenced.
Because it has been referenced in some other table as a foreign key, right?
Yes.
That should be the case if you haven't used this on delete cascade. If you have used this on delete
Okay.
cascade and you try to delete this using this query, what it will do, it will delete this department row biology and also it will delete these two rows in your courses.
So, sir, on basically on deleting, on doing this line, on delete cascading, uh, what thing physically we need to fill there?
You can simply remember this on delete cascade. It deletes the child row. I don't know whether you heard about this parent table, child table or not. Child table rows. Because assuming this is your parent table, because why this is a parent table means as if there is no department, you can't have any courses because this is your parent, right? Hello.
Yes, sir.
On whatever the thing the foreign key references, those are parent table, is it? And
Yes.
the current table will be the child table.
This will be your child table.
Okay. And this on delete cascade thing,
associated with each of the foreign key we are defining, right?
Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Because whenever you delete some department, and it also deletes your child, which is your courses at present in your department. In some cases, can be a courses where a department is null. In such cases, those rows won't be affected. Because if you mention this department name as not null, then it cannot be null, right? But if you have even not mentioned this null, this can be null also. So these courses won't be affected if even if you are deleting any department.
Sir, and foreign key, like it should be unique in the parent table, is it? Like it should have unique constraint or not required?
No, you don't need a unique key constraint.
Uh, in department table, department can have multiple values. Is it like then also it's fine? Like it will reference to both of the tuples there, is it?
I'm not getting like this. You are saying about this should be unique or this should
Uh,
be unique.
in the department table, department should be unique. Like in the biology means that biology should be unique in that table.
Yeah.
Okay, for that we need to impose unique or primary key constraint, right? Then only foreign key can be referenced.
It's not mandatory to have a unique or primary key constraint because here it's not a department name is not a unique constraint because we don't know what's the department constraint even here. Assuming this is unique together, that's why we are giving here. This is a good practice to have a foreign key constraint with unique or primary keys.
Okay,
Otherwise, it will lead to lots of confusion while deleting, creating. That's not even a good design
okay, okay, right.
to have a database schema. Let's do next week, fourth week. I think the fourth week content has been released. In that week, we'll look how this database can be created with the designs because there are various relationships which you need to consider while creating the schemas.
Okay, right.
Okay. Okay. I'll stop the streaming then.